Hey everybody out there, and welcome back to another episode of This is Sundays at 3 with GTD. Now, if this is your first time watching and you don't know what Sundays at 3 with GTD is, it's sort of a catch-all. It's the junk drawer of stuff on my channel that I just kind of throw together like a casserole when company's coming over, shove it into your face, and then hopefully you scarf it down with some pleasure. So in today's episode, what have we got on tap? I want to talk a little bit about an update on what's in my bag. I've got a couple of new additions with possibly another one coming. I want to get into a review that I've been going over quietly in the background sort of for the last couple months. Tell you about some of my latest issues and what I'm doing to try and correct those. And I've downloaded an app in lieu of another app that I told you I was going to be using in some future course vlogs because that app doesn't work and the devices that go along with it don't work. It's a long story. I'll explain. Let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to start you off with here are the additions to the bag. Now, as you know, if you've been keeping up with my Sunday videos and what's in my bag, you'll know that I added a 60-degree Cleveland CBX 2.0 wedge to the bag, which I absolutely love. If you saw my latest course vlogs, there's 2 9-hole course vlogs that came just before this the week prior. It was a great club. I'm just trying to dial in some of the distances with it as far as controlled pitch shots, half wedges, things like that. Occasionally it seems to take off, and I think it's just a matter of getting used to it. But I told you that I'd be on the lookout for another one of those CBX 2.0 wedges, and I finally found it, and I got a deal on it. This is a 54 degree. It comes with 12 degrees of bounce. As you can see, it is used. I've used it a little bit. Haven't actually used it on course yet, but it's still in really, really good condition, and even the grip is in good condition. But that's the 54 degree to cover the gap between my 50 degree utility wedge that comes with my Ping IE1 set of irons and then the 60 degree that I had. I got it for 40 bucks. 40 bucks, and I went and picked it up along with this bad boy right here. Now, I know you guys know some things about the TaylorMade Gapper series. This comes with a KBS hybrid stiff shaft stock. This is a lambkin sort of, it's almost like a marriage between a wrap grip and a Tour Velvet, so it's got these in it. I'm going to be changing all of my grips on my clubs here very soon anyway, but I wanted to go ahead and show you this. You can see the number on the little ticker says 4. I've been looking for something to close the gap between, say, a 5 and 6 iron and my driver in that 210, 220 range, and I'm hoping this will be it. And what I've got here is the 4 high gapper. As you can see right here, on the label, it says Gapper High. Let's see if I can get that in focus. Yeah, there you go. Gapper High. And you can see that the shape of it is much more of a hybrid than sort of some of the other ones that are bulky. They're almost like a bulky long iron. So they've got that series, but this has got more of the hybrid shape. So it's more of a true marriage between a wood and an iron. It is adjustable. Stock is 22 degrees on this. I think it's going to be the perfect club. I have not used it on course yet, but I definitely intend to use it this weekend out on course when I go to play. So that's the 2 new additions to the bag. I'll tell you about another one coming up. Okay, now on to the next thing that probably is going to get replaced in my bag, the putter. This putter is very cheap. I don't know that I've actually shown you in great detail what I have here, but I've got a wind pistol grip, and I actually really like this grip. The head cover has no markings. It's just a black Velcro head cover. Now, it's a Tour Edge Alps. It's got a stainless steel head. It says Pure Feel on it. I guess that's the addition that it is. But if you can see from the top, there are a lot of putters that have this shape now, sort of these. It's got the blade face on it, and then sort of an alignment right there. But then it's got these wings that sort of come off of the back. And I don't mind this putter. It's actually okay. I putt with it okay. But it's not a love affair. I don't have a love affair. I don't want to date my putter. I don't want to take it out to dinner. Here's kind of what I think about it. And maybe down in the comments below, you can tell me your thoughts on putters. You may or may not end up being able to look at a putter and say, yep, I like that one. And then when you actually try it out, have it come out the way you thought it was going to, feel the way you thought it was going to, perform the way you wanted it to perform. It may not be so simple. Putting really comes down to just trying a lot of different putters from a lot of different manufacturers and just seeing what jives with you. And putting, to me, I'm not one of these mechanical putters. I do not care about putting mechanics in the least. It is all feel. It is all just touch. Every bit of putting to me is just trying to get that touch and feel. So the way a putter feels, the way it looks when you look down at it and you put it on the ground, the way that it sounds, the way that it wants to track the line or not track the line, the way that it sits when you put the bottom of the putter on the ground, and then that shaft. Sometimes when I'm checking out new putters and everything, I look at them often, and when you set the bottom on the ground truly sold, the way a putter should sit, in my opinion, a lot of times those stock putters have the shaft kick back away from the target. I can't stand that. It absolutely drives me nuts. And when it does that, what it's doing essentially to sole itself out and then have the shaft go vertical the way I want it to go at address when I'm putting, it throws the face open. And then you've either got to kind of make some manipulation to close the face and pull across it. You've got to do something with your stroke kind of coming out the end, and then it's going to put side spin on it. It's never going to have a true roll in order to try and get it to track straight. Or you're just going to hit the putt with an open club face. So while I like this putter, I don't love this putter. So I'm in the market, and I've looked around at a lot of used ones, and I had a thought that, maybe I could get by a little bit cheaper doing it that way, and I might hit the lottery. Maybe I'll hit the lottery on it, and I'll just happen to pick the right putter from the right person. It'll just happen to work out, and I saved a little bit of money, right? Well, to me, I think that I'm going to have to actually purchase a new putter, as in new from the manufacturer, never being owned before by somebody else. And the reason for that is because I need to be able to get into that store or into that shop and try that putter along with a bunch of other putters and see what actually works rather than what I would believe would work for me or in theory work for me. Next up, before we get to what I've been working on lately, I want to kind of show you something like a swing thought that maybe you can try. I've been, for the last couple of months, trying out these different Bionic gloves. You may remember that I mentioned to you that there's always going to be a promo code and a link to Bionic Gloves website down in my description below, where you can use that promo code Golf Test Dummy to get 15% off anytime, all the time, from any Bionic Gloves website purchase. I've done a couple of rounds with this one, played some golf with that one, and that one is actually the Relief Grip. Now, this one, it says right here, better grip, more relief for arthritic hands. So if you have pain and arthritis in your hands, this is supposed to combat that. But I tried this glove out, and I've got no problems with this glove. It's totally legal. I like it, but it's not my favorite. My favorite so far is probably one of the simplest gloves that they offer. It's this one. You can see that it's got the black palm on it. It does have some ridge lines across the fingers and across the palm to help, aid in stability and just give you that overall grip. It's just a great all-around glove. You get a little bit of relief in the palm and the pads, and it has just held up well. I've played the most rounds of golf with this, and as you can see, all I've got is some discoloration. And that's not from the glove itself. That's from my grips. The grips on my irons are disintegrating. Anytime I practice, there's black all over my hands and black all over these gloves. It's one of the reasons that I have to get my grips replaced. But sort of an update on that. After messing with these for a few months now, you get 15% off all the time, anytime. Golf Test Dummy. Use the promo code. Save yourself some money. Okay, moving on. I know I've got a lot of ground to cover today. I'm sorry. I'm just going to be all over the map. But the next thing that I've been working on is something that I have started referring to as squat to squash. Yeah. Basically, a lot of the issues that I've had as of late, I've been using the Sean Clement Wisdom in Golf approach now for a couple of months, as you know. In that swing, lately, one thing I've been having some issues with are the tops. The tops, the thins, the skulls, the worm burners, the squirters, the half shanks, you name it. My timing has gotten off, and I'm getting a little bit too quick with the down and through part of my golf swing. So I'm coming up fine. I'm throwing it up fine. I'm heaving the club up to the top of the swing. All that's good. And then I do come down. When I come down, however, I'm really quick to come back up on the other side. Lately. Not all the time, lately. And it is getting better. And one of the things that I've tried to to manually work on out here is to make sure that I squat into my shot. When you squat into the shot, why I call it squat to squash is because we all know about compression and how that compressed, solid downward blow with that iron that compresses it and takes that dollar bill divot, or hell, for some of us, maybe it takes the equivalent of like a dead fox divot, just throwing it out in the air. But that downward compression where the shaft is leaning into the target and you're really just squeezing the ball, you're squashing that golf ball, and then boom, it explodes off the face. So squat to squash is for me to remind me to continue to have that downward motion. Now, is that the equivalent of what a lot of people say, which is hit down on the golf ball? I think that can be a misnomer. I think that can be a misnomer because depending on who you're talking to, when you say hit down on your irons, hit down on the golf ball when the ball's on the turf, they can do that any number of ways. Somebody may do that with their hands. Some people may do that with their shoulders. And some people may do that by trying to slide way forward. They're trying to slide into it to make sure that they stay ahead of the golf ball really well and make sure, boom, they come down really steep. And nowadays, everybody's talking about shallowing the shaft. You want that shaft to come in super shallow. Let's drop it back here and let's rotate into it to try and square it up. I don't know that that approach works for everybody, but I can tell you that that movement to actually catch the ball while the club head is still moving down ever so slightly, that is key. That's something you can't dispute. That is just physics. That's ball flight mechanics. So in my opinion, what I'm doing recently to help me out with that is to think about that squat. So when I take it up to the top and I heave it up there, now I'm opened up, I've come up, and if I just kind of dip slightly and I go after the ball and I lose my focus on the task and I come up too quick on the other side, I get really thin shots. So I know that I want the ball to be contacted with that club coming down. And as I said, there's a lot of different ways to achieve that. You don't want to do it with your shoulders because if your right shoulder starts overtaking, you're coming out to in, you're coming in really steep, and yeah, you're going to hit down on the ball, but you're also going to have the ball probably start left and then peel off to the right. Now for me, I want to keep it really simple. Really simple. So if I take it and I throw it to the top, I've got my backswing built, it's grooved now. I've worked on it for weeks and weeks. So from here, rather than try to do something complex, right? I just think about sitting back down. And when I do that, I have to make sure that I feel as if I'm going to get deep with it. Because in actuality, when you put it into the sequence of the golf swing, for me anyway, I find that if I think about that big sit, that big seat, what actually happens is a very small version of that in which I stay just where I need to be through the ball and I can deliver into the picture and extend toward the target. All the while ensuring that I'm going to catch the ball on the way down without manipulating it with my hands or my shoulders. When I get up to the top, all I've got to do is kind of sit back into it, and then the swinging motion will take me through to the target. Let's just take it up. And it's so solid. It's so solid. It's so simple. It takes your hands and your arms and your manipulation out of it. It's just great. And all I'm thinking about once I get up there is just sitting down. Now, obviously, if you have your knees that are working like this as you open up your hips and take it back, you're going to have a hard time sitting straight down. So the great thing about this is that when you try to sit, it actually straightens you back up to square. Now, when you do this and the club is already coming down and the momentum's going that way, you're going to continue to rotate unless you prevent it, at least in my experience. And again, I'm not a pro. I don't come up with these things. I just test out what other people say. I saw some videos recently. I've seen plenty of them in the past where a guy is actually taking it back. He's actually sitting down onto a bench and then coming up the other side. Now, I haven't tried that, but I get the concept, and it makes a lot of sense. Some people have made fun of it, and maybe things like that seem like they're not true to the wisdom in golf approach. Maybe that's true. I don't know. I didn't design it. I haven't asked Sean about it, but for me, it's helping me to make sure I don't skip that step. Because if you come up and then you just blink down and you're coming back up again, you're going to be above ground level a lot of times. That's helping with my early extension. That's helping with my contact. That's helping to make sure that the handle is leading the club. That's helping to make sure that I compress the ball and that I don't have to put in so much effort to get some kind of a powerful ball flight out of my shot. Now that we've covered that, here's one other thing. The Game Golf Live. I mentioned it a couple of Sundays ago. I told you guys that I was going to re-implement that, and I put all of the little tags on the bottom of all of my clubs, went through the entire app, set everything up again, made all new club selections, tied all that stuff together, cleared out all the old data, and I had it ready to go. I took it to the golf course with me a few weeks back, plugged it in, hooked it up onto my belt, and it won't recognize the device. Long story short, it's not working. But I have downloaded an app called GolfPad. Now with GolfPad, you can actually go, I found them on Amazon, you can go on Amazon and order these little chips, these RFID tags to go with GolfPad if you would like. Or you can just use the app for free, and then there's a paid version of the app. I'm going to be doing sort of a recurring use of that throughout the course of, I hope, this season, to where maybe I can give you some, like a wrap-up, a full in-depth review toward the end of the season and say, hey, I've been using it for 3 months now, 4 months now, and here's all my stats. I'm going to be using it to track my handicap, my distances with my clubs, where my misses are, where the problems in my game are, where I'm losing my strokes. Oh, I almost forgot. Another thing I'm going to be doing. I'm not doing Tuesdays at 3 anymore. I'm moving that to Wednesday at 3. So it's going to be Sundays at 3. That's always going to be there. And then Wednesdays at 3. Give me some comments. Leave me some thumbs up. Thanks so much for supporting the channel. Go get your 15% off your Bionic gloves. And I'll see you next time.